I wanted to show everyone how we have been solving our addition problems in class. So I'm going to read one out loud and then go over the different strategies that we've already practiced in class so that you can continue working on those at home. So I'll go ahead and start reading the problem and then we'll work from there. Miss Hill was organizing the lost and found. She sorted 5 pairs of black mittens and 2 pairs of blue mittens. How many pairs of mittens were there in all? So I first go ahead and I look for the important numbers and words in this word problem and I'll underline them accordingly. So I already know that I see 2 numbers. So there were 5 pairs of black mittens and there were 2 pairs of blue mittens. Another important word that I want to underline here is in all. In all is going to tell me that I know I want to make a larger group, and I'm adding 2 groups of numbers together. So I already know there are 5 pairs of black mittens and 2 pairs of blue mittens. So the first thing I usually do before I even use a strategy is just go ahead and write my equation for this. So I'm going to go ahead and there's a box here at the bottom here that says equation. So I'm going to write 5 plus 2 equals. I'm not going to go ahead and solve it yet because I have not used any of my strategies. So I'm going to choose a strategy first that I find the most useful, and that is illustration. So when I'm doing a drawing or an illustration, I always want to start off by drawing the first number, and I usually just draw circles because I find that's easier than drawing the actual mittens or something like that. So I'm going to start off just by drawing 5. I know it's 5 plus 2. You can write those numbers above if that helps you. I'm going to draw 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always leave a space for where the plus sign is so that I know that I've counted each group correctly, 5, and then I know I need to add 2 more. So 1, 2. Then I'll count them all together and write the number below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've solved the problem using the drawing strategy and found the answer was 7. I can also use other strategies. So I could use the tens frame right here, and that would be solved very similarly to the drawing. I'm just going to fill in 5 circles first because I have 5 black mittens. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have been teaching that it's helpful to color in the first group just so, again, that you can differentiate between the first number and the first group of mittens and the second group of mittens so that you know you're not counting them incorrectly. So 5 first, and then I'll do 1, 2 blue for the 2 blue mittens, and those are on the bottom. Now I can count them in the same way I just counted the drawings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I've gotten the same answer here, so that's a good sign. So I can just put a little check noting that I found the same answer. If I did not get the same answer, and at that point I would want to go back and double check my work for the drawing and also the tens frame to see what was the issue. Another strategy that we've practiced is this number line here. I know it's a little hard to see, but the numbers here go from 0 to 10. I always start off by circling the first number. So the first number in my equation is this number 5. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that number. The second number tells me how many hops I'm going to be making on the number line. So I'm going to make 1 hop and 2 hops, and I've landed on the number 7, which is, again, a good sign because that's the same answer I've gotten using 3 different strategies. The final strategy that I have here is this number bond, and that strategy is a part, and a whole. So I know that my parts here, I've already been given my parts here because they're the first part of my equation. So the first part is a 5. So I can write that in one of my parts. The second part is a 2. I can write that as well. And then I can use the strategies here that I've already used You can use, this is when students might use their fingers or manipulatives also, if that's helpful, or you might count on in your brain, say 5, 6, 7, and to get that whole number, which is 7. The last thing I want to do is write my answer in the after the equal sign here. So 5 plus 2 equals 7, and I've been able to demonstrate that using 1, 2, 3, 4 different strategies as well as writing the equation. So when you're working on your word problems at home, this is sort of the formula that I think is helpful to go through. You don't have to do every single strategy each time, but I do think it's helpful to practice using multiple different strategies so that you're not relying only on using your fingers or only on using manipulatives every single time. Let me know if you have any questions about this moving forward.